Yes, people, and we're back with another episode of On The Judy, and we've got Marvin Sordell in the building. What's going on, bro?
Not a lot, man. Not a lot.
You good?
Yeah, good.
No, you actually good?
Yeah. You?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. You've been through a lot, so I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Before I forget, obviously the Olympics are on now, and you represented Team GB in the Olympics, something that probably won't happen again. How was that for you?
I mean, incredible experience. It's more so to look back on, I guess, because, and I say this to people when they ask me, because I get asked it a fair amount, and at the time, it was just chaos. And like, being a football player in that environment is so different to being a football player at any other time. You don't travel as much. You're not having to move around so quickly and do things at such a quick pace, and you're not surrounded by so many people all the time. Whereas normal footballing environment, you have your hotel, you have your base. Especially in a tournament, you have your hotel, you have your base. And even if you're going to, you're having to travel after a few days to another game, you then travel, then you have your own hotel, you have your own base, and everything is just locked down. So it's very calm, it's very relaxing. In the Olympics, you travel, but the hotel and the base that you're in, all of the other teams stay in that same place.
Okay.
So like, you think you're going down to breakfast, and we're playing Uruguay in the evening, and like going in the lift, and like Luis Suarez is standing there, and you're like, right, this is weird.
I'll be smashing you later.
Or not me.
But yeah, was it Olympic Village, isn't it?
We were in Olympic Village for a bit as well. So we were in, also our games were in different places.
Okay.
Our first game was in Manchester at Old Trafford. Our second game was at Wembley. Our third game was at Cardiff. And to be fair, luckily we stayed at the same place because the quarters were in Cardiff as well.
Okay, cool. I saw you tweet about the Olympian that quit for mental health. Do you think that could have helped you, like during your time, like to take time off and be selfish and be like, look, I'm going to take time off to recharge my battery and stuff like that? Isn't that something you could have done?
I tried to.
Serious?
So when I was 21, or 21, 22, around that age, and I've spoken about this a lot. And so I was seeing a therapist at the time, and therapist, psychologist. I don't want to downplay her title because I know she was a doctor, so she was, she had a lot of experience, and I'd been seeing her for, I don't know, a few weeks, few months or something at this point, and she said, I think you need to take some time off. You need to go to the Priory, and if anyone who doesn't know what the Priory is, it's for people who are in a real bad way. And I was like, well, what does that mean? What does that entail? She said, well, I think to start with, go there for a couple of weeks. We can have sessions like more intense, more on a obviously more regular basis. So as opposed to it being once a week for an hour, maybe a couple of hours every day, or spread throughout the day or whatever. And it's on a consistent basis throughout a period of time. Yeah. And I said to her, I can't do that. I can't just take 2 weeks off. I'm a professional football player. How am I supposed to just go, by the way, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And these guys
can't give you annual leave.
They're paying me whatever they're paying me. Like, they're paying me a decent wage. And it was when I was at Bolton at the time, and they paid a good transfer fee for me. Like, on. So
wait.
I was like,
you don't want to say how much you was on, no?
What, wages?
Yeah.
No, that's crash, man.
just testing the waters. Just testing the waters.
No, so at this point, I'm just like, I don't think it's possible, but I'll ask.
Yeah.
I never had the intention to ask because I knew the answer was going to be, what do you mean? Of course not.
Yeah.
And later down the line, like, it must have been a couple of months later, and at this point, I'd obviously said to the doctor, I'd said to her, I don't think this is possible, whatever. She's gone, right, that's fine, but, let's just work towards it, kind of thing. So she said, come in, instead of having our sessions at the office where it's called, where we normally have them, come into the Priory, and we'll have our actual sessions there just to make you.
They wanted you to travel. She wanted you to travel from Bolton to the Priory.
So the Priory, there's multiple Priories in the country.
Cool. I know the one like in South London. That's what I'm thinking.
So there's one. There was one like not that far away, like in Cheshire somewhere.
Okay, cool.
So it wasn't, and I was living in Manchester, so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't didn't make a huge amount of difference travel-wise. So she just said basically to help you feel a bit more comfortable in this environment, because I know that people hear prior and it's like something just pings in your mind. You're like, oh, that's a red flag. I just don't want to be involved in that because, you know, personally, I might not be ready for that or whatever. So she was like, just come, you know, you might feel a bit more comfortable having our sessions here, and then later down the line, you can make a decision. I don't know what's happened, but a couple of months later, I'd had like maybe 2-3 sessions there and then gone back to carrying on in the office. And my mum calls me one day. And bearing in mind at this point, I hadn't spoken to anyone about what's going on.
Yeah.
Not even my mum. And she's gone, I just had a call from the chairman. I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, for a start, at this point, I don't even really know who the chairman is. So like, what do you mean? Like, what have I done?
Yeah.
My first thought, like, I have no idea what's going on. And she's gone, you know, he just said to me that you need to be concentrating more on your football. You need to stop all this going on Twitter. You need to stop all this cooking, and you need to stop this playing the piano and you know, not be going to the Priory. You need to just concentrate on football. I didn't really think about it until literally a couple of years down the line. The first 3, I was like, you know, I live on my own. I have to cook to survive. I'm a human being. Like, if I don't cook, I don't eat. If I don't eat, I don't survive.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I have to do that. And then like tweeting, I was like, again, I'm a young guy living on my own in a different city.
What else am I meant to do? Yeah.
Like, I'm like most people my age are on social media.
Yeah.
So that's a normal thing. And then playing the piano, I was like, look, I would rather have a hobby that is productive in some capacity rather than just go out, go casino, go drinking, which a lot of my friends did, or just on PlayStation. I wanted to learn something, to, you know, to try something new.
Sorry, just to cut you there. Did it affect your football, or did you think it was affecting your football?
How?
For him to call your mum and say that.
This is the thing, because at the time I'm suffering from mental health. I'm suffering from depression.
Yeah.
So
did you know you were suffering, or
I didn't know really until it was made sense to me by the doctor.
Okay.
Because I just thought, well, nothing made sense to me at this point, because I'm thinking, well, my life, you know, from an external perspective, my life is everything that I've wanted it to be. I'm literally living the dream that I've wanted to live since I was 6 years old, and yet I'm not happy. That doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do all of these different things to try and maybe make sense of things or whatever. And of course, as well, the biggest thing was I wasn't playing. So after I'd moved, I wasn't in the team. So I got injured about 2 weeks after I'd moved, which is, again, something that not a lot of people knew or even maybe know at the time, is that I played in an under-21s game at the training ground, and a ball hit me in my eye. But there was literally a person standing right in front of me, and as the ball's come, he's ducked, and it's hit me square in the face, and literally straight away, I couldn't see a thing out of my eye. And so I come off at halftime, went to the hospital. They did all these checks and stuff, and I had a scratched retina.
Oh wow! From the ball.
From the ball, yeah. And they were like, "Well, you can't do any exercise for," I think it was like 2 weeks or something at that point. Which obviously is annoying, because I just signed. I'd made my debut like a week before, and I couldn't train. I couldn't even do a simple thing like go for a jog. So they said, "Well, you might as well just go home," because these people at the hospital are saying, if you basically have too much, when you exercise and your heart rate goes up and too much pressure comes up, like the blood flows around your brain quicker and stuff as well, or whatever it may have been, and you risk losing your eyesight.
Mad.
I said, well, obviously I'm not going to do that there.
Yeah.
So I then didn't have the period there where I was, you know, involved or at the training ground. And so coming back from that, then having to kind of even try harder to fit in and try to build things up again. Yeah. So I hadn't been playing, so that obviously made things even more difficult.
So, as you said, you was living the dream. When did you realise that you're like, I'm getting paid all this money, I'm a pro footballer, I'm playing in the Prem, but there's something missing? Didn't the club, like, or the players make you feel welcome? What was missing?
Everyone was doing their own thing though, I think. And I don't want to ever pin it on anybody else, because it's not really down to people to make me fit in, really, per se. But at the same time, you kind of want that. You know what I mean? You want to have maybe that environment that is welcoming. It didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But of course, everyone had their own thing going on. Everyone has their own lives, their own family. So it is what it is, kind of thing. But I felt that it was difficult to settle in, because at that point as well, I was 20, just turned 21. I was the youngest in the first team squad.
Yeah, it's quite an old team then, isn't it?
It was quite an old team. Yeah. So that's difficult in itself, and then obviously trying to settle into a city that I've never lived in, and it's intense. Like, the step up to the Premier League is intense. Like, the step up in training, expectation, games, like everything, it's just so much more intense. So it's difficult to, even at the best of times, even if the scenario is great, everything's welcome, it's still difficult to make that step up.
Yeah, I hear that. You just said expectations. Wasn't Sturridge there before you?
Yeah.
And he kind of like you done his thing, innit? Yeah. So I think for you, they brought you in to replicate that, and you take them, like, score all the goals and stuff, and that's a lot of pressure for yourself, innit? Was that a trigger as well, or? I
mean,
did you not see it like that?
The first thing that the manager said after I'd signed, so I met him. So I hadn't actually met him when I signed.
Yeah.
And I went up the next day and I met him, and I sat in his office, and he said, "You saw what, obviously you would have seen what Daniel Sturridge did for us last season." He said, "I want you to do that." I was like, "Right, okay."
And you're a young man from the Championship, innit? Straight up.
Yeah. I was like, "All right, I'll try." He was like, "Well, I think you've got the potential to kick on from here, get into the England squad and make a move higher."
Yeah.
And I wasn't, like, necessarily very confident in myself at that point either. So for him saying that, I wasn't like, "Yeah, I'm ready to take this on." I'm like, "I don't think you know what you're talking about."
What? So are you saying that? Is that you not rating your ability to Prem standards, or you just thinking, like, I'm not ready for that sort of pressure?
Just in general. Like, I even playing for Watford at times, I was like, if things were going great, then I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I must be all right, because I'm scoring goals, I'm doing well." As soon as I stopped scoring goals, like, as soon as things got a little bit tougher, I was like, I've been found out.
You question yourself?
Always.
Wow. But didn't you have friends around you? I'm not dissing your friends or anything, but don't you have friends around you that, like, pick you up and stuff? Like, I've got a friend who was a footballer, and we used to give him the positives and the criticisms as well, and he used to take both the same, innit? Don't you have friends around you that helped you?
Yeah. People say things like that all the time, but I don't know. It never really sunk in until probably I was like 25, 26. And I thought, actually, I'm actually all right.
Yeah.
Like, it took me a very long time. I had a lot of conversations even with Stuart Pearce in the 21s. And he'd pull me in after sessions and go, like, because they used to film every session and stuff as well. And, like, he'd put clips together of some sessions maybe over a week that we've been in camp. And he'd say, "Look, this is you. This is what you can do. Like, you just need to believe in yourself."
Okay.
And I go, "Well, I try."
Yeah, I can hear that. All right, let's take a breather off from that, and let's go back to where it started. Where did the love of football start?
It's playing, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know where actually even the spark came from, because no one in my family is interested in football at all. I just started playing in the playground. I remember watching the FA Cup final in '98.
Okay.
Arsenal Newcastle.
I remember that 2-0. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my first memory of football, of watching football, and I just loved it. And then I remember watching the World Cup after that, and remember that goal that Michael Owen scored.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that, and then it, like, going to the crowd and stuff, and everyone was just going absolutely nuts. I thought, yeah, I want to do that.
Okay. And what was your first club like? Let's skip the grassroots and stuff. What was your first, like, professional football team you played for?
I got scouted for Chelsea at 13.
Okay.
And I went on trial there. And at that point as well, they were like, that's when Chelsea had just been bought.
Okay.
And they were really, really investing in everything, from a training ground to new players, it's a big transitional period for them at the time. And I guess if I went there the year before, I probably would have got signed.
Okay.
But the year that I went there, and they've got all these players coming in from
everywhere
overseas.
in the country. Yeah.
I went on trial. I did okay, but they were like, you know, you're not quite ready, or you're not going to be good enough. You know, we've got younger players. At that point, Frank Noble was a year younger than me as well, and they had big hopes for him. So like, you know, it's unfortunate, but you know, see you later. Good luck.
Yeah. How'd you take that?
To be honest, I was prepared for it because I knew, like, I'm seeing the standard, like, and my whole thing at that time was I need to just try and absorb as much and learn as much as possible, because this is one of the biggest clubs now, and they're going to be one of the biggest clubs in the country, in the world. So, and it's the first time I've ever been in an academy.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just about learning, just trying to understand like what's going on, like try and absorb as much information as possible, because whether even from the get-go, it's like whether I get in or I don't, I just need to learn.
Yeah.
So that I can move forward.
Well, you had that mentality back then, yeah?
Yeah, that was it.
Fair enough. And what happened after?
So after the 6 weeks, went away, and I actually went and signed for a different Sunday team.
Okay.
And the scout who took me to Chelsea, I think he was working with a different Sunday team, and he said, I recommend coming here. You're playing a year older. I think it'll help you improve quicker.
Yeah.
You know, take everything that you've learned from being at Chelsea and try and apply it this year, and hopefully, I think you'll be ready in the next year, which I did. And then next year, he took me to Fulham. So, which, again, very few people know, but his son was playing for Fulham at the time.
Okay.
And so he was a scout for Chelsea. So he never made any money off the fact that I went to Fulham. He just saw something in me, believed in me, and said to Fulham that I've got a kid who just went to Chelsea, was very close to getting signed, and I think he's ready. And went on trial at Fulham, and there was nobody in the world that was going to stop me.
Yeah. So you was ready then, yeah?
Yeah.
So you get signed?
Yeah.
You're from Harrow, right?
Yeah.
Harrow to Fulham is a trek. Yeah.
I know.
How are you getting back? Is it parents taking you?
So going to training, like, to be fair, going anywhere is my mum.
Okay.
Just everywhere. Like, we were in a car with the A to Z map, like, like just
I remember
fold it
that.
up.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that. Yeah.
It was, honestly, it was long. And my sister as well, like, you know, my older sister would give up so much of her time to travel to these away games, these mad places in the country, you know, in the front reading the map while I'm just getting ready in the back. And so yeah, it was, at that point, it was just my mum, or I'd get the train. So sometimes I'd get the train from school. My mum would come and drive and pick me up. But yeah, it's a long way. It's a good hour and a half.
That's mad committed, isn't it? Dad weren't around?
No, so my dad's not been around since I was 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have any memory of him at all?
Very, very few. You know, so not positive ones anyway.
Wow. So if he ever came, when he was a pro, at your heights, if he ever came back into your life and said,
I mean, he tried.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So like, I think I was 18, maybe 19. I got a call on my birthday. I didn't know who it was.
Wait. See, at this time, does he know you're a footballer?
He must do.
Okay, yeah.
I'm playing for Watford at this time. I'm playing in the first team. I didn't quite obviously grasp the concept of playing in the Championship and how big that is.
Yeah, because all you're seeing is Premier League.
Well, not even that. All I'm thinking is, at Watford at the time, like, most of the players in the first team are coming from the academy. So I'm playing with all the guys that I've come up with. So it's just me. It's just like playing in the first team with my friends. So I don't really quite grasp how big it is. So, you know, I probably didn't realize or expect people from outside to kind of know, but he would have known because, well, I mean, he did know because he said, you know, you're doing really well.
Oh, right. So what happened after that?
And I was just like, well, all right.
See you later, innit?
What do you mean? Like, I don't know what to say. I was spoken to you in, God knows, like, over a decade. I've not seen you in over a decade. So, like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And like, even since, like, he's tried to, like very few occasions tried to reach out, but like, well, this isn't a person like my biological father, but like, I don't know you, so like, you know, it's the same as me and a stranger on the street. If someone said to me, "Oh, you know, hi," I'd say hi, and then if that was it, then right, cool, see you later.
Yeah, I can understand that. When you're starting playing in the first team and you sign your first deal and whatever, you're getting real money now. Wait, okay, maybe not real money, but you're getting paid. You got some sort of income that some people are earning in a month, whatever. And it's you, your mum, and your sister. Being a man in a house, did you feel the weight on your shoulders, or did your mum just let you concentrate on football?
No, I mean, she did let me concentrate on football, but that was always like my thought. You know, it was want to get to a place where everybody around is secure. Like, I grew up with no money.
Yeah.
You know, so that was my thought was I want to be able to look after my mum and my sister, because this isn't just for me, it's for them as well, because I've given up a lot of time in my life. I've sacrificed, I've put work in, but so have they into my career. Not even just into their lives, but into mine as well.
Do you feel retiring early, do you feel like you kind of failed? Or do you feel like you had to do it because you was on the edge?
I had to do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was the right time. And that question obviously comes up, you know, that of do I feel like I failed? And that was the reason why I retired, because I was like, I did make it.
Okay.
I mean, everything that I wanted to do, I've done.
Ticked off.
So what am I aspiring to other than a bit more longevity? Because even then I had longevity.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, just to go back to your dad. Do you feel like growing up you needed him?
No.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Not even thinking, right, I need a male figure to teach me how to, you know, like do a school tie and shit like that? No?
No.
Really?
Like for what?
Like,
to
like
do
I
a
said,
school tie. Like people taught me. I don't know who taught me, but someone taught me.
No, but
I know
even
how to do a tie.
But even like, you know, it's, I can't explain it, but there's things like your dad. My dad, I didn't live with my dad, but I saw him every weekend. Like he took me to football, but there's certain things that he taught me. I can't remember what, but you know, you get taught. But didn't you feel like you?
Well, I don't know, like, because I guess now as an adult and as a dad myself, I don't feel like there's anything that I have missed out on learning or any experience I've missed out on. Like I feel very fulfilled in life, completely.
Okay. Okay, I hear that. I hear that. Do you resent him? Not resent him, but no.
I think, like, maybe before I was a teenager, I was angry, but I didn't know why I was angry.
Okay.
I didn't resent him, but I was angry just in general. I guess because I didn't understand what was going on, why my family dynamic was different to so many other people's.
Okay, yeah.
But then that probably wasn't just about him. It was about, you know, money as well, having to move home lots, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to him. And then as I've grown up, it's just like, well, like what have I got to resent? Because my life is amazing.
Yeah.
I've done everything that I've ever wanted to. I've lived all of the dreams I've ever had. Like, so.
Spent big money?
Yeah, unfortunately.
How was growing up in Harrow? Like, I got a mate who's from Harrow as well. Is there a rough part? Is it all like humble?
It depends. It depends, I guess. There's like, I mean, I lived in different places in Harrow throughout my childhood. And I grew up in, like, probably the majority of the time that I grew up was in Pinner.
Okay, yeah.
Which was like from 11 onwards. And the estate I lived on was mad.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it felt like chaos. But it felt like I was like in the eye of a storm. Like you're still, and just everything around just kind of just going, like being blown all over the place. It was crazy. Like but obviously as a family, we just kept ourselves to ourselves and tried to stay away from all of it. Because like, even just things like, you know, being woken up at 2 a.m. because the riot police are knocking down the neighbour's door because he's been doing whatever madness. You know, the other neighbour come out of prison and him and his partner, I don't even know what's going on, but I see like a whole wardrobe on the green in the middle. Like, neighbour over there is like fighting with the neighbour here. that neighbour's, you know, on the run from police as well. So it's like, I'm just seeing it. But I'm just a kid. All I cared about was playing football.
Fair. So none of it ever excited you? Like with me, my journey to school is what got me onto that bad path. Like I'm seeing fights, I'm seeing all these kids, it's all kicking off. So I was like,
I saw it all.
And how did you stay away from it?
All I cared about was football.
But I cared about football. Like I used to do what I did in the week. Weekend was for football. As soon as football's done, I'm doing the madness as well.
But there was no football's done. Football, that's it. Football, all I said, all I've ever known from that age was, I want to be a professional football player. What does it take? It takes putting the work in. So when people were doing whatever they were doing in, you know, after school, I never used to hang around someone used to hang around at bus station in Harrow. I used to go on a bus, I used to go home. Or I used to go on a bus, I used to go to training, or get the train to training. And when I used to get home, do my homework, and then I'm practicing everything, every single day.
You see, when you're telling your mum, I want to be a footballer, what is she saying to you? She's like, have a backup plan or?
Nah, my mum wasn't. My mum was just said, if you want to do it, then you need to do it properly. You need to work hard and you need to, you know, put everything into it. She was the one who said to me, bearing in mind this woman, that she doesn't know anything about football.
Yeah.
You know, she's a Nigerian woman. So as you know, or as any of you know, in African households, education is
number one. Yeah.
Number one.
Okay.
So my mum said, you know, make sure you're obviously doing your work and doing your schoolwork, which I guess as well, I was a bit lucky that I didn't find school difficult or challenging or too hard to navigate. So I could just do my work and it's quite easy and then go and play football. She was the one who said, you know, you need why are you not practicing with your left?
Serious?
Yeah. She was like, if you want to play football, you play football with both legs, surely. So she was like, practice on your left. I was like, all right. So I'd have to practice on my left.
Wow, decent. Better from mum. Better. So when did you sign for Watford? When did the Fulham? So
Fulham, I got released as an under 16, so I didn't get offered a scholarship.
And how did you take that?
I was buzzing.
What? Because the journey was long?
No. It was. At this point, obviously, I spent all of my time thinking about football and working towards being a professional football player. Not just playing, but thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking about what are the routes to get in. So I'm looking at people's journeys, people who are making their debuts at, 16, 17, 18, 19 or whatever. People who are playing longer, people who are not making their debuts, so like 21, 22. And I was thinking, looking at Fulham and going, I don't know if I'm going to get through here. Because there's a few players who, in our team at the time, who were really, really like fancied by the club. Like they were going to push them through.
Yeah.
I was never one of those players.
Okay.
So I thought, right, how am I going to get through here? Because big first team squad, all seniors, big reserve squad, a lot of players who are like 20, 21, not even played a first team game. Big youth team squad. And they don't even, bearing in mind, they don't even really like me that much. So
why didn't they like you?
They thought other players were better. Which is
they didn't like you as
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, one of the coaches didn't like me, but that's just it's a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's life. But so I saw all of that and I thought, right, it's going to be tough to get through here. And I knew, again, trying to get a scholarship at a club, you needed to get a scholarship and a pro at the same club.
Yeah.
It was so difficult, or it has been difficult. I saw that it was difficult for a player to get a scholarship at one club, get released, and then get pro at another club. Like, it doesn't really happen.
Unless you're unreal.
Yeah. Then you probably wouldn't have got released.
True, yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense, yeah.
So all my thinking was, I need to leave Fulham and try and find a club that there's a quicker pathway to the first team. Because if you get into the first team quicker, you get better opportunity to play more games and whatever. And then I went to the exit trials, so I got released from Fulham, which again is a blessing. Went to the exit trials and did well. Watford were one of the clubs. A few other clubs were serious as well. Went into Watford and I signed there and signed my scholar there.
Was you buzzing because Watford is local to you, isn't
it? Kind of. I mean, I was more buzzing because of the coach. So I went into the under 16s and under 16 manager was Mark Warburton.
Okay, yeah.
QPR manager now.
Yeah.
And I remember going there for training the first time and seeing this session up. And it looked like the most complicated session I've ever seen. Like just cones everywhere, just colours. It looked like a landing strip. And started the session and he was just such a hands-on coach who just looked at all of the technical aspects in such a different way that I'd ever been coached before. I thought, if this is what the club's about, then I really want to sign here. And I had it was at the time I had the two clubs who were most interested were Celtic and Port Vale.
In you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they, Celtic came up and I was like, great, huge club, but I don't really want to live in Scotland. And then Port Vale was another one of that. I went up there actually, and they showed me around the stadium and training ground and stuff. And they said they wanted to fast track me into the first team.
Okay.
But I thought I didn't think I was ready because I was 16. I thought.
So hold on, wait. Sorry to cut you. So at that age, you're thinking like a grown man because
I don't know.
Well, by the sounds of it, you are, because a lot of 15-year-olds would have jumped at the chance to play like, okay, I'm 16. I'll probably be in academy. Well, they've got the youth team for like a year, then I'll be in the first team. And you're thinking, I'm not ready.
It wasn't even a year. They were saying like I'd go into the first team squad potentially.
Look at that 15 or 15, 16-year-old is jumping at that chance, and you're saying I'm not ready. You're thinking your mentality at that age is advanced.
I guess, but I was thinking about a plan. There's having a plan in place to get to. Not just to play 1 or 2 games, to play 100, 200 games. That's the plan, to have a career. So
again, like that plan, I don't think a lot of boys at that age are thinking about playing 200 games or 200 games as a first team player. They're just thinking, let me get in the first team, let me sign a big contract, let me get some money, blah blah blah. But you're thinking about a career. That's advanced thinking, no?
I guess. I mean, I don't know because it's how I think.
Okay, yeah, I'm just letting you know how I see it. Fair enough. But yeah, then Watford.
Yeah, so then obviously went to Watford. Amazing. And then I saw, it ticked all of the boxes. They had a first team squad who wasn't that big. They were a Premier League club. They were about to get relegated. They had an academy status, so still getting to play against all of the top clubs in London. They had great coaches, great setup. They had a very good track record of developing players from academy to first team, and I thought perfect.
And you knew all of this, yeah?
Yeah, it's what you have to know.
Fair enough. I hope people are listening because this is a different way of looking at the game, innit? I've never heard it this way.
Football is not just about playing football. It's like so much more.
Talk the stuff, bro. Talk the stuff. Get me? Say Watford didn't want to sign you. Say you had an extra trial and you had a stinker. No one wanted you. Did you ever have a backup plan?
Not really.
It's all football.
I thought about other things, but then I thought, well, I always had. It's crazy because, as I said, I'm not a massively confident person, or particularly not at that age, and yet I always knew that I was going to be a professional football player. I always said, teachers would say to me all the time, "You need to have a backup plan." I was like, "For what?"
But see, this is what I don't get. So you say you're not a massively confident person, but you always knew you was going to be a pro. So you have some sort of confidence.
I must, to some extent, yeah.
Because, like you say, you was at Fulham. It was a blessing in disguise. You're not going to get a scholarship. You're not going to get a pro at Fulham. You don't know what's around the corner. But you already say I'm going to be a pro. I don't know.
I think it's more determination as well than confidence.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking about exit trials and that, do you think enough is done for young players who get released and then just left in limbo?
Personally, no. I don't think people kind of grasp how difficult it is for a young player at 16 particularly, and you're in your formative years to be released and then not know what's around the corner. There's not it's obviously one thing me saying, I knew that I was going to be a professional footballer, but what if I wasn't? What if that didn't happen? What if I didn't get an opportunity at that point? Then what was around the corner?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm not having any other conversations with anybody within football. So who do I go to if I'm struggling, if I'm finding it difficult emotionally? And that's someone who'd only been in the academy for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
What if you'd been in the academy since 6, 10 years, and that's all you ever knew was, I'm at Chelsea.
And
for that whole time.
And there's a lot of boys like that, isn't it? Yeah. What would you want to be put in place for them?
There has to be some sort of support in terms of players who are getting released. Like they have to have a care package, or people around them that are just there. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I need to go searching to find out like this information, that information, or who to speak to. It's like, the club's released you, whether it's the PFA, which I don't think it can be at that age, but whether it's the FA, or the Premier League, the Football League, wherever it may be, a governing body of some sort, are just there for these young players. Because I read something a few months ago that likened being released as a football player, not just at academy or just in general, like having to leave the game when it's not your choice. It was likened to going through grief, because it's a part of you. It's not just a job. It's not just a career. This is
your
something
life,
that is a part of someone's their life.
Yeah.
And so you cut that off. It's not just as simple as telling someone they're fired, which is difficult as it is. It is, right, I'm taking away all you are. It's big.
It's mad, yeah. Thinking about it like that, that's mad. That's mad. All right, let's go back to you. Yeah. Where did you first go on loan at Watford? Do you still remember?
First. I went non-league to Wealdstone when I was 17.
Are you thinking this is my chance to play first team football, or this is long?
Nothing at that age. I wasn't thinking anything was long other than running, which is long. But I had to do it.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was just like, it's good because, even if I don't make it at Watford, people need to know that I can play against men and I can handle it. So when I spoke to the manager at Watford at the time, it was AD Boothroyd. He said, you need to go out and you need to go and get kicked. I was like, cool. Try and get a couple goals and get kicked. And I was just like, yeah, let's do it.
Fair enough. Was it a wake-up call for you, like playing with people who are playing football as a hobby because they're going to work and then playing football on a Saturday?
These guys are not playing football as a hobby. They take it serious.
I know they take it serious, but it's not their priority. Like they've got 9 to 5s and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
But when you turn up and the game starts, this doesn't feel like a hobby.
Okay. But you know what I mean, innit? Like,
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Didn't you think, right, this could be me? Like going to work and going to football?
No, I didn't think that at all. Like, when I went there and played my first game, and I was terrible. The pitch was terrible. The conditions were terrible. And, I just matched that.
Yeah.
And went in after and I had a shower or tried to have a shower and the showers weren't working. I don't know if that was just that day but the showers weren't working. And I remember it was freezing cold. It was like beginning of December or something. Or November maybe. I can't remember. It was freezing cold. And I got in the car after and I looked at my mum and said, I need to work so much harder.
You don't want to do this?
Because I can't play at this level. Was
it one of them loans that you thought, I'm gonna gain something out of this? Or, again, this is probably like the, this is long kind of question, isn't it? Like, no. Be honest, did you enjoy it or did you think this is just my pathway?
I didn't enjoy it, but at the same time, I was just like, it's necessary because, if you're playing against someone who, their only way of stopping you, if you're fast, because I was quick as a striker and I wasn't the biggest, it's like their way of stopping me is by kicking me. I need to know how to not get kicked.
Run faster.
I need to either run faster or I need to run, more intelligently. So either way, I'm going to be doing something better. So I'm going to be thinking quicker. I'm going to have to move the ball quicker. And I'm going to have to be making better runs. I'm going to have to have sharper movement. So either way, I'm going to learn just purely because of what I'm coming up against.
I hear that. See, when you got your first ever pro, was you gassed? Nah. Nah,
do you know why? Because I sat there and it was Brendan Rodgers was the manager at the time, first team manager. And I was the last player of my age to get pro. And that day, so I've gone in, there's 3 of us left to get pros. I think 3 had already got their pros, like early in the season. I was the last person to go in. 1 comes out, released. Second one comes out, release. I was like, I know the script now, don't I? I've gone in and he's literally just grilled me for like 10, 15 minutes.
What, told you all the negative stuff?
He told me so like a lot. There was a lot of negatives.
Do you remember any?
I can't remember. But,
yeah.
And then he's gone, but we're going to give you a pro. And I didn't even know how to feel at that point. So I was like, well, you just grilled me for 20 minutes. So I don't even know if I feel good now. Then I come out and called my mum and said, yeah, I got pro. I was like, well, right. Now we got to start.
You see when they give you the pro, did they tell you you're going to be on this, and this, or do you have to negotiate it?
Negotiate what?
They just say you're going to be on.
They're not even negotiate or tell you what you're going to be on. They just say here's the contract. Take it home, sign it, bring it back. It's just, there's nothing that comes there. I would because I wasn't like playing for England youth teams or anything like that. It's not like I was desired by other clubs that they've got to negotiate. They've got to really try to make sure it's proper or whatever. It was a last decision day. It was like, take it. There wasn't a take it or leave it because they knew that I can't leave it.
Fair enough. They had you by the balls, isn't it? Going into pre-season, I probably know the answer to this already, but going into pre-season, you're probably with the first team squad. Do you think, I'm here, I've made it?
Nah.
I knew it. You didn't say that.
Not at all, man. Because we had quite a few senior pros. What I was thinking is I want to impress and I want to try and get into the squad if I can for a couple of games, and then I want to go on loan because see Watford in Championship, I can get hopefully League 1, League 2.
Okay. And then you made your debut. Were you ready? Did you feel ready?
I didn't even know that it was coming. So I'd been in the squad, like travelled like once or twice before that, and I didn't get on the bench. But it's amazing to travel with the first team. I was 18, and then we played Sheffield United away, and I travelled just for normal, like not going to be on the bench, whatever. And then saw my name on the bench, and I was like, okay, this is new. And then warm up, and it's a great experience just being on the pitch and all that stuff. And I think it was like 60 minutes or something. Obviously warming up as every like 10 minutes or so. They send 3 subs out, and so just warming up as normal. And then I get shout, come on, like someone shouting at me. I'm like, why is this guy shouting at me? And he's like,
a fan or a coach?
No, the because the fitness coach used to tell the subs that they're coming on. Yeah. So the fitness coach shouting, Marv. Like, why is this guy shouting at me? What have I done? So I'm like kind of like jogging so, and he's like, come on. And he's like, yeah, you're coming on. And I was like, oh, okay.
Decent.
So I went on and yeah.
Did you how was it? Did you manage to get a touch, or was you like nervous and hid?
Nah, you know what? We were 2-0 down, and it was like a comfy 2-0. So there was just not really like a spark. Like the atmosphere was flat. The game was like pretty slow. And they had remember that centre back Chris Morgan?
I think I remember the name. I might be
big tough guy.
Getting it mixed up, but yeah, go ahead.
Big tough guy, yeah. And like one of the first thing that I come on, and one of the first things we had a free kick, and the goalkeeper's taking deep, way deep. Yeah. Goalkeeper's taking it, and it's this guy against me, and I'm thinking, oh,
he's gonna just smash me.
This isn't it.
Yeah.
For my first touch in professional football, for this guy to just be coming through the back of me, it's just not what I want. But I jumped up, and I've jumped up and won the header, and thought, oh, all right, this is not too bad.
Okay, decent. I'm gonna ask you a question just away from it a little bit. How did you cope with being famous?
Famous?
You were famous. You was like one of the next best. Like you were like hottest, one of the hot prospects.
Nah, but not famous,
bro. Did you ever get stopped in the street?
Yeah.
Famous. So how did you cope with it? Stop playing yourself down. Know. You was a big fish at one point.
I don't know then.
But so, okay, people stop
me and I say, people, if you stop me and I didn't know you, I'd look at you funny.
Really?
I'm wondering, why you, how do you know my name?
Do you see well,
it doesn't cross my mind.
Serious?
So someone's shouting Marvin, I'm like, who's this?
So you're famous then, isn't it? If random people are calling you or talking to you, I don't think I'm famous, but I get people saying, oh, like the podcast,
So if you don't think you're famous, then How can I not think I'm
you played champ and prem. Bro, you're playing champ and prem. You're on the TV week in, week out. Match of the day, week in, week out. I'm on YouTube, on Spotify for a 3 months period. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like you are famous. Have you got a blue tick? Famous.
That doesn't mean you're famous.
Famous. Yeah. See, when I get a blue tick, it's long. Yeah. No one can chat to me. No one can chat to me. So, how did you cope with it?
Well, obviously, I didn't because I don't know. I just didn't think about it like that, I guess. So people stop me, and I guess I'd be a bit uncomfortable because I'm thinking, how do these people know who I am or know my name? And why are they stopping me? Why are they wanting pictures and stuff? So it made me a bit uncomfortable, particularly when I was young.
Okay.
Like people wanting pictures and stuff. And even times where I think I was at Bolton at the time, and I remember walking in, and it was like walking into Nando's one time, and it was like a pin. You can hear a pin drop. It's so weird. I was on my own as well. I walked in, and it's just like people just turning and staring. I was like, "What's going on here?"
That's mad, because like obviously
I was playing at Bolton.
Yeah,
I thought,
and it's the only club in the area and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Back to Watford. There was a period where you didn't play for like half the season. Do you remember that?
Which?
I think it's like your first season.
Yeah. After I'd made my debut.
Yeah, after you didn't play. I made
my debut, and then I played a couple games later. I scored my first goal. Then the game after I started, and then I wasn't in the squad for ages.
Why?
Because they had better players. More experienced players. But
you're playing, and is it because they were struggling or?
No, not necessarily. I was a young player, and I wasn't like ready to be playing week in, week out.
But you're playing.
I played a couple of games. It's not the same as playing.
But you made your debut, obviously done well. Played a couple of games, then scored, then played again. How are you not ready?
I played like, I don't know, 3-4 games at that point. I wasn't ready.
Yeah?
I wasn't ready to be playing, like, consistently be involved at that level.
So are you not feeling pissed off because you've been dropped again?
I wanted to go on loan.
Oh, you wanted to go on loan?
That was my whole thing. I wanted to go on loan. And I was asking from like October to go on loan, and they kept telling me no. So that's when I was annoyed, because I was just like, well, I'm not playing here, and I need to play. I want to be playing regular football at a level that I can play regular football to be ready to play at this level.
Okay. Isn't there anyone at the club, like a senior player, that you could spoke to, be like, how do I get ready? How do I improve this and this and that?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to players, and you can get better in training, but by playing games, that's the best way of getting better at playing games. There's no training's not going to get you ready. First team football is, you have to play first team football, or enough of first team football at whatever level to be ready to play first team football at the next level.
I hear that. Did you get your loan in the end?
I did, in January.
Where'd you go?
End of January, I went to Tranmere.
Enjoy it?
Nah. But it was necessary.
Is there a loan you enjoyed?
Nah.
No?
To be fair, like the only other loan I had was to Northampton at the end of my career, which I was injured when I went. I didn't even want so.
Okay. So doing your thing at Watford, you finally get ready, then you get bought by Bolton. How are you feeling then? I know you spoke about it earlier and said you got bought by so-and-so, and what's your thought?
At the time it was like a huge relief, because more so because of the timing of it, like the whole, from like the beginning of December onwards, like my agent was speaking to a load of clubs about, who were interested or whatever, and there was just a lot of talks around transfers to here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And he got to deadline day, and obviously Bolton came in, and it was a relief, because getting to a Premier League club, playing in the Premier League was my dream. That's what every kid dreams about. And so I was just like, wow, this is it. Like this is huge, and it was hard to really even make sense of how big that was at the time. I was just like, wow, this is incredible.
Could you believe that a club actually wanted to pay for you? Like, you didn't get signed, end of the contract. Like, someone paid money for you. Like,
to be honest, I never even thought about that. Like, because it's not my money.
Well, you didn't see any of it. Not even like a little signing on fee or nothing.
Those things don't come to, like, that has to be written in your contract before that.
So what's your agent doing? You couldn't even get your signing on fee or that.
My contract, yeah. I mean, I was on a good contract.
Yeah.
But my contract at Watford before that it wasn't like a big contract.
Okay. Go on. You said you was on a good contract.
At Bolton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a good contract.
Give us a, not exact figure, give us a round ballpark.
What do you mean?
Talk some figures.
It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was good.
What, very, very good. Like, you're looking at your account like, wow. Or, this is all right.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Move mum and sister up?
No. So they've stayed down.
Move them out of ends?
Eventually, yeah.
Better. So it's big then.
It was all right. But it's all relative, isn't it? Because before that, when I first broke into the first team, so not the year I made my debut, the next year when I actually broke in, I was playing like every week. I was on £250 a week. And
you're playing week in, week out? So what the hell was you on the first season?
Less, bro.
Beans on toast, they're taking a piss.
My first year pro was £175 a week. And the year I broke into the team, like actually playing, I was on £250 a week. My match bonus, like for starting, even if I came on as a sub, was more than my wage.
Go on.
The match bonus for starting, it's like a bag.
And you're playing week in, week out?
Yeah.
So you was all right then?
Yeah, I was right, but I wasn't on decent. Like, if I didn't play, if I got injured, it was different, innit?
All right. So when you was at Bolton, I know we spoke earlier about it.
Yeah.
You went there. They tried to tell you to replicate Daniel Sturridge and stuff like, and you weren't ready. Then you end up getting relegated. Did that affect you at all? Or
it was tough because I hadn't been able to have enough of an impact on that. I didn't play. I think I made like 3 sub appearances and like 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. Do you know what I mean? So I never played. I never got to have an impact. So it was really frustrating. And like, it was a frustrating end to the season. But
how does it go? How do you go from the manager saying we want you to be like Daniel Sturridge, and then you being a sub for 2 minutes 3 times? What was going on?
To be honest, like, they had a lot of experienced players, and it was either like I guess they saw me as a wild card and just thought, you know, if we can throw him in, he might just do this. And they decided to not play the wild card. You know, they decided to go with experience, and he said that to me quite a few times. He said, I want to go with more experience, which is fine. That's in the end of the day, that's his decision.
I guess his job's on the line as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, let's go. You were racially abused by a 13-year-old.
Is that how old he was?
I think so. That's what I read. When you're reading that, like, what are you thinking? Like, when you're racially abused, like when you're thinking, when
the stadium.
So when you're hearing it, what are you thinking?
Mad. You know what I mean? But at the same time, everyone who's played football there would have said the same thing to you at the time. That you go out to warm up to the left, just keep your head down. I was told that by players. Serious? Just keep your head down. Don't look into the crowd, nothing. Do your warm up and come back.
When you're getting told that, you're thinking, what are you, like, I'd be like, what? What do you mean? That can't happen. I'm jumping in the crowd. I'm doing a cannon now. I'm jumping in the crowd.
But that's you saying that this now.
No, but that's me anyway.
Not like an 18-year-old and you're in the... Like,
no, 18, I was a sickhead.
Sorry, not 18. I was 21, 22.
I think I was just about... But I'm going nuts.
In the environment of a football player, as a professional football player, there is so much expected of you in terms of how you conduct yourself, how you react, how you behave. And so that's it.
21, I'm still young, bro.
Who's it? Yeah, but how many 21-year-olds you see in professional football not get treated like 21-year-olds?
Yeah, but the ones that don't get treated like that are, the ones that are destined to be great.
But why? So what's the difference?
There's no difference, but
they're still 21.
Yeah, I hear kids. That, but you've got a lot more
on the line,
responsibility and on the line. Yeah.
At the time, I thought I had a fair amount on the line.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Yeah, and I'm just thinking, who's it gonna? What's in the end of the day in that situation? Who's gonna come out worse?
Yeah, fair enough. Also, you mentioned you was on Twitter a lot, and you're getting a lot of stick.
Mm-hmm.
Are you reading every bit of it?
I saw a lot of it. Yeah.
You replying? Sometimes
people saying stuff that I don't agree with. I'm gonna defend myself because, you know, that's particularly at that age. And I don't really think about being a professional football player, of course, but like in the sense that somebody's saying something to me that is just way out of context or just, you know, that just isn't acceptable. I'm gonna say, like, look, this is a situation. But people don't like that.
Yeah. How are the club helping you?
Helping.
Not helping.
I got fined, you know.
For replying?
For replying to, I can't even remember what it was. But the thing is, I'm not even, I wouldn't say I'm a rude person. I can be sarcastic. I mean, I can be rude.
Yeah.
But not in a very, not like directly rude. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just interacting with people in that manner, like a sarcastic manner. Just obviously people don't like that. Do you know what I mean? Especially when if you're not playing or you're not playing well, the club's not doing well. People don't take too lightly to that.
Yeah.
So they didn't like that. Eventually, the club, the manager at the time, just randomly said, "Yeah, I'm fining you a week's wages." I was like, "All right, if this is what you want, then cool."
How much was it?
A week.
Yeah, but sorry, I didn't clock. A week's wages. Were you thinking, it's nothing? I'm a big
No.
anyway.
I wasn't thinking stuff. I was fuming. But what could I do?
Nothing you can do.
Exactly.
So, when did you think enough was enough and your mental health was at its lowest?
It already was at that point, and it just kind of carried on there for like months and months, really. And I guess the summer break helped because I kind of went on holiday and just kind of had a mental refresh and kind of away from football and the football environment and having to think about that. And came back pre-season, I was flying. Like, you know, I thought, yeah, things are going really well, scoring goals. And then I get told like 3 days before the season starts that I'm going on loan. And I was like, right, this is new. This is news to me. You know, I was at my girlfriend's house at the time. On my day off, I'd played basically every game in pre-season at that point.
And done well.
And done well.
Yeah.
Normally the team that starts the last pre-season game is a team that starts the first game of the season. And I played like 85 minutes. So I thought, right, and I'd done all right. Okay, this is me now. Like, it's going to be a good time to kind of break through. Things are picking up better. And my agent calls me and goes, yeah, what have you done to the manager? You're going on loan. I was like, what do you mean? I'm starting Saturday. And he's gone, well, no, he's telling me you're going on loan. These are your options. You go to Charlton, you can go to Bournemouth. I was like, all right. And he's gone, by the way, and he said that you have to take a pay cut. I was like, I didn't even asked to go on loan.
Wait. So you're in contract and he's telling you to take a pay cut?
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, you got to sign a new deal?
Basically, you have to sign. So when I signed on loan, I had to sign some papers saying that I'm waiving X amount. So
the team that you went to is only paying...
So I went to Charlton, yeah. So Charlton would pay like this part. Bolton would pay a little bit. And then...
The rest is gone.
The rest is just... They're just saving.
Wow. Did you agree to that?
I was told, you got to take a pay cut. And I was like, well, why am I taking a pay cut if I'm not the one asking to go on loan?
Yeah.
And he's called me back. He's gone, right, he said you have to take a pay cut and go on loan. If you don't and you decide to stay, he's going to make your life a living hell. And I was like, guess I'm going on loan then, eh?
And you didn't fancy even like testing it, thinking...
What do you do in that situation? As
I don't know.
I stay and then I'm definitely not going to play.
Yeah.
Because if he's saying he's going to make my life a living hell,
you'd probably be like, a youth team or something.
That's worst case. Best case is I'm not playing. anyway. So if I'm not going to be playing anyway, what am I going to stick around for? I want to play. I was like 23, 22, 23. I want to play.
Yeah. Did all these things add up to that, to make you want to take your life?
Yeah, of course. Because I'm thinking, well, like, everything is just, like, I was thinking, what's the point? And at this point anyway, like, life is just, in general, was just not in a good place. Like, there were so many things I just felt like so wildly out of control in my life. And, I was on medication at this point as well. So I can't even remember what the medication is, but I was on antidepressants for a long time. And I don't think they were making me feel better. They were just making me feel completely numb. And so there was no excitement, enjoyment, no highs. It was just things felt low things felt okay or mildly low. And the mildly low still didn't feel like, mildly low felt low still.
So even if you're like scoring a goal, you're just like,
It just didn't, like, honestly, at that point, like, there was nothing.
That's mad. So what club were you at when you tried to take your life?
I was at Charlton.
Yeah? And what? You just took pills, and just hoped to didn't wake up?
Yeah. Like, just before I went to brush my teeth, did that, and then went to bed hoping to not wake up, because that was like, I was at that point where I was just like, well, what is existence is pointless.
But isn't there anyone you could have spoke to before you got to that point?
I didn't feel like I could have. Maybe there was.
Girlfriend, mum, sister?
Maybe there was. I mean, but I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like I could. I didn't feel like I was, like, I think when you're in that place as well, like suffering from depression or any sort of mental health, like to that extent, you feel like your pain is a burden on other people. And so you feel like me talking about that to someone is going to be harmful to them as opposed to it's going to help me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that because you want to save them from having that pain.
And when you wake up, I don't want to sound insensitive. Are you not thinking, oh, let me try it again? No,
I didn't. I was just like, I can't even do this. Can't even do this.
It made you feel worse then?
Yeah. And I was just like, right, I'm go training now.
So you wake up, you're alive, you feel worse because you failed to take your life, like, and then you think, oh, I just gotta go training. Did you tell anyone at the club?
I didn't. No one even knew this until like 2 years after.
And when people found out, what was their reaction like? Well,
I shared, because at that point I was writing a lot. I was writing a lot of poetry, and that was like one of my saving graces, really. And I got to a point where I'd had like a massive collection of poems, and all through experiences and emotions from the previous however many years. And I just said, I got to a point where I was just like, I need to just give this and just share this and send an email with a PDF link to my closest friends and family. And just said, can you read this? And that was it. And they were obviously, it put into context a lot of the previous few years of my life for them. Yeah. Made them understand like why I maybe behaved in this manner and in certain way, why I was, completely shut away, or why I was drinking loads, or whatever it may have been.
I hear that. What do you say to people who say, how can you be depressed and how can you want to take your life when you're earning thousands of pounds a week? Like, what do you say to people like that? Who say things like that?
Well, it's interesting because I would have thought the same thing. And it's only getting to that place in life that probably pushed me to that extent towards depression. Because when my focus in life up until that point was, I want to play in the Premier League. I want to be, doing well in my career. I want to be playing for England at some level. I want to be earning a good amount of money. And I got to a point where I had all those things. And so everything, all of the things that I was kind of chasing were there. I'm still obviously with them, but it's just like continuing them as opposed to chasing them. So my mindset is now, right, my mind is now looking at the rest of my life, because all of the problems, like the financial problems, are beginning to diminish.
Yeah.
So because all of the problems that are necessarily external started to go, then my mind goes, right, now we need to look at internal. And so all of those problems start to manifest because it's like, well, I haven't got any other problems in life.
I didn't get that. Could you try
Yeah, me neither.
Cheers. Why don't you just, when you was at your, before you took your life, I'm assuming football was probably the main reason. Why don't you just retire and just go get like a job, another job?
I thought about it. I got to, I think I was like, 23, 24 maybe. And I was very close to just leaving. And I was gonna, I had a plan in place.
Wait, did you say 23, 24?
Yeah.
Your career's just started?
Yeah.
So you've been playing football for what? 18, 19, 20?
Like 5-6 years.
And you think this is enough? I've had enough?
Yeah. I literally had a plan. I was like, all right, I'm going to just sell the properties that I've got. And I've got a good amount of money. I can just go and disappear and just go off and live life in wherever.
And what made you carry on?
I thought that I wasn't done. I wasn't quite done. And there was still something in me that I was just like, I need to give it another crack.
When did you start to drink like aggressively, like a lot?
It was that time when I was at Charlton.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you turning up to training drunk? Or like...
Well, I don't think so. I don't know. I might have been, but it was mostly I'd get home from training and I only literally live around the corner from the training ground. I'd get home and like, I didn't even used to have lunch at training. I used to just, because I was literally the last person to get to training probably every day and the first person to leave. I was like there from like 10 to 10 and 12:15, you see my car driving out and I'm home at 12:30 and I just start drinking and I'll be drinking until the night and then go sleep, wake up, go to training, same again.
Why though?
I couldn't tell you. It was a way of, I guess, of numbing the feeling.
Are you by yourself at this point?
With my girlfriend at the time.
Not to disrespect her. Is she drinking with you or she's not trying to stop you?
No. She tried, and she did try, but what's she gonna do?
Where's your family at this point?
What do you mean?
Like, do they know what you're going through? Obviously, you told me you sent that PDF.
That was years later.
Yeah, I know, but isn't your girlfriend telling your mum or your sister to say like he's killing himself and he keeps drinking and stuff?
It probably didn't look like that from like if you met me, you wouldn't even at that point you wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have been able to unless you were there every day, you wouldn't have understood or you wouldn't have realized. It wouldn't have made sense to you because it's still fine. I could hide it very, very well. You know, I still, even if I was drinking, like I wouldn't be drinking like that if I knew people were coming around.
Okay.
So, you know, that's what people in, you know, that scenario do. They're very tactile. They understand how to hide it better than probably anybody can hide anything else.
I hear that. See, now that you're a mental health ambassador, what do you hope, or is there things in place for people that are going through what you went through?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the biggest thing is that people can talk about this. You know, there is the space, the capacity for people to have this conversation and not feel bad about their specific situation, wherever it may be, or not feel bad about or weird that they're talking about mental health. Yeah. As I said, at that time when I was, my doctor said I should go to the Priory, which I probably should have.
Yeah.
And that's the reaction that I had from the chairman of the club at the time. You know, that's...
You've seen you as a cash cow, innit, basically.
Yeah. And that's me going, right, I can't talk about this, I can't address this because if I do, that's a problem. Whereas I think now that is very much less the case.
I hear that. Do you think footballers are scared to be themselves?
Definitely.
But why though? Like, if I'm...
Pressure, the clubs, fans, all of those.
At the end of the day, they're human, innit? Like, everyone makes mistakes, innit? Like,
yeah, but we may care about that, but the general population, they go, well, they shouldn't be doing that. They're on X amount a week. That's what they are. They are X person on X amount a week. They're not, this person's brother, this person's cousin, this person's son. They are just X player on X amount a week. So they're not human to most people.
Yeah. So what's worse, the media or the fans, like the football fans?
I don't think there's a real difference. Like I think the negativity between both feeds each other. Because when the fans are onto a player, the media kind of pick it up and kind of, elevate that a bit more.
Add fuel to the fire.
And then that goes back to the fans who are seeing that in the press, and they kind of stirs them up a bit more. You take like Raheem Sterling when he was at Liverpool and that whole scenario. It could have been, it's a normal situation in football. Like, player wants to leave. And, sometimes it's not about money, it's not about contract, they just want to leave. If a club wants a player to leave, they'll do anything.
Yeah,
you
true,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not even a thing. Players have wanted to leave clubs all the time. But that became a real big thing where now, see, he started to get, abused by Liverpool fans sometimes, or gets, booed and stuff. And you think, well, all it is, he wanted to leave. He wanted to go to a different club. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, but yeah, fans are fickle, I guess, innit?
It's football.
It is. Like, it's entertainment at the end of the day, innit? Like, my club wants to be the best. If one of my best players is leaving, I'm not going to want them to leave. So I'm going to.
But if your worst player wanted to leave, that's cool, you go.
But they still give him the same abuse.
Not the worst. No.
They'll still go be like, F off your.
If there's a bad player, they're like, get him out.
But that's still abuse, no? Like.
Yeah, but my point is that if a player who's doing well wants to leave, the fans want to stop them leaving. If the player's not doing well, they want him to leave.
Yeah.
So when people talk about loyalty in football, the only thing the only place loyalty exists within football is from fans to clubs.
And not fans to players.
Not fans to players, not players to fans, not players to clubs, not clubs to players, not clubs to fans in a lot of instances. Just fans to their club. That's the only place that loyalty purely exists within football.
I never thought of it like that, to be fair. What are, like, listening to your career, like, what are the dark side, like, of football, like the things no one talks about? Like, all I see is on YouTube is them laughing and giggling at training. What sort of things are, like, like you said, the chairman saying, no, you can't go to concentrate on football, ringing your mum, concentrate on football. What sort of things are players going through that no one knows?
I mean, bullying is something that happens a lot in football.
And it's masked over by banter.
Sometimes it's just seen as, like, you just think it's part of the game. Like, it's what you have to do, because that's what the older players had to do, and that's what they told you, keep your head down. So you think, all right, that's what you do. And then you tell the younger players, just keep your head down. Whereas you kind of you take a step out of the scenario as you get older, or as you come out of football, and you look and you go, nah, that probably weren't right. Like, you shouldn't be, like, some managers and stuff, speaking to younger players in particular, kind of things that they say to them, make them do. And you go, that really is bullying.
Yeah. But who are we to stop it, innit?
How do you stop it?
You can't.
Because
just change the whole culture.
As an ex-player, they'll go, well, like, firstly, I'm not involved to that extent anymore.
Yeah.
But obviously it's different, I guess, for me because of the scenario I left the game. But for someone who retired through injury or was released and didn't get another contract, they'd go, oh, he's just being bitter. He could be saying everything factual, but they'd say he's being bitter. He could be speaking about that manager previously and he'll say he's been bitter. Even if everything he says is true, it's how people perceive it.
Yeah.
And people don't necessarily want to take it. People don't want to hear that, this is going on within the game. Mental health is something that is very common within football. But players have a lot. There's a lot of players I've spoken to with mental health issues. They don't necessarily label it as such, but there are plenty.
And it goes back to the thing, like, you agree that players are scared to be themselves.
Massively. Because you even get told, like, you go into a training ground and even as a young player, you have senior players saying, oh, don't wear this or don't wear that, just in case they look at you like this. Don't wear your hat. Or don't drive in, don't be listening to this kind of music.
I hear that. Just to close, as you said, from 6 years old to be, your dream was to be a professional footballer. You've done it. It didn't plan out the way you wanted it to. Well, you ticked all your boxes, but you had to retire early. If you could start again, would you?
No.
Why not?
Because I've done it. It's done.
You won't do anything different?
No, because everything, I believe everything happens for a reason anyway. But every part of my career, every part of my life has led me to be who I am today and where I am today. I'm very happy with both of those. So if anything changed, then that changes me. You know, even down to the depression, mental health, like that side of things. Like, I'm so grateful that I went through that. Okay. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't understand myself or people to the extent or the depth that I do. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Fair way to put it. No, Marvin, thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for sharing. And I hope people are listening to the way you planned your career and how much research you put into it. And I'm glad you're in a good place now. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, bro. Quick fire round. Favorite player?
Messi.
Most skillful player you faced?
Wolf, Zaha.
Favorite pre-match meal?
It's pasta.
Biggest adrenaline rush you've had in football?
Probably scoring my first ever goal.
What's your superstition before a game?
I just can't remember. It's been a while, you know.
You don't have one when you play?
Nah.
No? Worst trainer but best on a match day?
Ooh. There's no one that stands out. I can't remember. No?
Probably you when you was going through your little...
Could have been me, you know.
Most embarrassing moment?
Taking a free kick that hit the stand.
What, the top of the stand? You know.
Well, it was close to it. It was high.
What's your initiation song?
I don't have one because I played for like 8 clubs or something.
Yeah.
So I did so many initiation songs.
Do you remember the last one you done?
I can't remember now.
Well, fair enough. Any regrets?
No.
No? Thank you for coming on, bro.
Nice one, man.